Hey guys, welcome to this channel. We are preparing to enter into growing season 3 for us. And something we like to do on our channel is to share forward things that we learn along the way. Our first growing season, which was in 2021, we didn't have a monetary goal. We just wanted to actually see if we can grow food and actually get it to the market. But however, we learned very quickly that we had abundance of foods that was going to waste. So in 2022, what we did was we decided to expand our reach by adding 2 additional markets, and as well as we set a monetary goal of a gross profit of $35,000, which we did miss. For those who are new to our channels, we are Mad Acre Farms. Welcome. We are our first generational small family farm that consists of 7 small enterprises. We have a 3/4 acre market garden. We have an orchard. We also have a fruit plot along with edible hedgerow. From there, we also have honeybees, so we process honey, and then we also have egg laying chickens, and as well as we do pasture raised poultry. And the last thing we have is our farm apparel, so we do t-shirts and as well as stickers. Just a side note, I want to thank those who have already put in their order for their t-shirts. Those are currently being processed and will be going out here in the coming weeks. So thank you very much for that. We tend to, and when I say we, I mean all of us, we tend to romanticize farming. And one thing I have learned is farms are created in the field, but they're sustained in the office. That's a part of the puzzle that we were really missing and that we didn't understand. And what I mean by that, we was having a great time out there getting our hands dirty, building things, putting seeds in the soil, transplanting the soil, working with the animals, but we were not thinking about the money that was going out and versus the money that was coming in. We were not tracking that, so we couldn't tell you how much money we were spending versus how much money we were making. So we knew really quickly that was something that we had to change. So one thing I did was I pleaded with Jamie, because she's very technologically savvy, to work on creating something that will give us the ability to not only monitor our costs, but also project how much money we can make in a year based off what we're growing in all the different enterprises that we have on our farm. Now, I can't explain to you the ins and outs of those things, so I'm gonna let Jamie do that here for you.
All right, you guys, as Ryan has mentioned, we're first generational farmers, and the last 2 seasons we've struggled a bit with just having visibility into our sales. And I thought we were doing a really good job tracking our sales and what was really a hot seller and so forth, and the actuality is we weren't. We definitely weren't. And so I took it upon myself to really search to see if there was a program that I could use that would really benefit us on our farm with all of the enterprises that we kind of have in place here. And what I have found is that we'd have multiple subscriptions, and cost matters, right? And so thinking of that and looking at what I can actually do, when I get into like softwares and that kind of thing, I can catch on pretty quick. Those things come pretty easy to me. So I built a plan, and I want to share that with you guys. But I'm also interested to see if you guys are using something on your farm to show you visibility into your sales, if you're doing multiple different projects on your farm that you're working to build an income. Drop it in the comments, because I would be so interested to see, and maybe it's something I overlooked, maybe it's a blind spot for me. Also, if this is something that you guys are interested in, the plan is that we're going to actually use this as a trial run this season. And if it's something that has really worked for us, which after I show you guys, I think you'll see that it's something that I've spent quite a bit of time on. I'm confident that I will get it to work. This might be something we put in a membership, but this is a beta test, folks. We have to perfect it and really make sure it is gonna work how we say it's gonna work before we even get to that point. So stay tuned for that, and let's jump into this. I wanna show you what I've been working on.
So, as the client and having Jamie create this for me, there's a few things I wanted here. One is, I'm not that technologically savvy, so I had to have something as a visual aid to give me an overview of what the farm looked like. Now, she have done a few interesting things that I'm gonna tell you. So, and then she went way above and beyond. So if you would take a drone over our farm, this here is roughly what our market garden looks like, including our fruit plot, also including our greenhouse area, then our hedgerows, and then our multiple plots. Now, one interesting thing she done for me is you guys can see here, if you scroll to the right, is you can see our overall goal of $65,000. Now, as you also can see, the market garden falls a little bit short. We're only going to be projecting $31.25. Now, I'll let Jamie explain to you what that entails, but you also have to remember is that we have multiple enterprises that's going to be feeding into that $65,000 goal, and we'll show you guys how they contribute to the $65,000 goal, and she encompassed all that into this software here for us.
I did. So with Ryan and what he has kind of explained to me what he was looking for, I had to think of, you know, how are we going to utilize these beds, and really think through with the system on planning for succession planning, harvest, and that kind of, and turning the beds over and keeping track of the income that those beds would bring in. And so what I did was I built a crop plan, and then with all of the pertinent information around that particular crop, and I found out when they would actually be ready to harvest. And then from there, Ryan and I got together and we've planned out the beds based upon the data that I was providing him on the crop plan. So, for example, explain what you decided on these rows.
So let's just look at plot 2 and just grab a row of plot 2. Which one is a busy row? Let's just grab plot 2, row 8.
Row 8?
Yep.
Okay.
So if you can zoom into that so they can get a look at that. So let's say plot 2, row 8. What Jamie has done here, you can see our very first crop there are our red cabbages. We're going to be planting those, starting those from 5/17, and they'll be available for harvest.
5/14.
5/14.
Yep.
My eyes are getting bad.
Yeah, they are.
And then they're going to be available for harvest. She let me know what date they're going to be available for harvest. And then what's nice about cabbages, we can get 2 cuts from her. So she figured out when that second cut is, and the system automatically puts the date in and let us know what that second harvest is going to be for us. What's cool about that, let's say for instance, Acre Farms get a little crazy and get some employees or get some interns if we're lucky on a farm. We now can give them a blueprint of things that need to be done on the farm and when to harvest things or when to plant things and keep the succession going. And that's the next item on the list. So once the red cabbages are done, now we got what do we do with that bed? Back in the day last year, what we did was we scrambled to figure out what seed can we put in that bed, or what transplant we can put in that bed. We weren't really planning. Now this tells us right up front, we know that our all-star lettuce is going to be going in that bed right after our cabbages are done, and then it gives us our 3 harvest date for those that
and those
lettuce.
are projected, right? Like,
Yes.
we have to perfect this. This truly is in beta. So
Yes.
it's one thing that we're gonna perfect this season.
Yeah. So, and then if you scroll up to plot 2, so you guys got a kind of a in-depth look at what a row look like. But let's show you what the bottom line of plot 2. What plot 2 is our biggest plot, and it's going to show you what our plot 2 is going to make for us. So, as you can see here, if Jamie can just hover around that, it tells you. For the entire growing season, we projected to make $14,148.50 own plot too. Now, is that guaranteed? No, sales aren't guaranteed. But if we stick to the plan that Jamie has created, we have the capabilities of making that, and that's what we kind of needed on the farm, is to be able to get a visual idea of our capabilities.
It's a baseline.
Yes, because
it is.
Because we want this. If we follow this plan and everything goes perfect and goes according to plan, that's our projected sale. That's kind of a guarantee. But like I said, when it comes to sales and marketing, nothing guaranteed. But we have the capability of doing that. So I'm not that technologically savvy, so this is more up my alley, the visual aid portion of it. But there, of course, with everything, there is some behind the workings that Jamie's going to explain to you here, and that's what we're going to get into here now. Now, we're not going to go in depth into the behind the workings, but we want to give you an idea. Is there's something behind here that communicates with that Jamie explained to me, but like I said, I can't explain. So let's go ahead and let's just show them the behind the scenes of
really
it.
Yeah. I'll give you guys a quick overview because I don't want to bore you, but my very beginning that I started with this is our crop plan. I built, based upon what Ryan really wanted to grow this season. I looked up all the information I possibly could. I provided links of my data source to Ryan if he wants to look up and just verify some of the maturity dates and that kind of thing. I gave him, it's almost like citing my source. So I did that, but this is basically all of our crop plan. It tells us if we're going to direct seed. It tells us if we're going to do a transplant. I also put in, when will we start those seeds from our last frost date, and it projects the dates for us, and a lot of that feeds into the other areas of this program.
So let me, if I could take the mic.
Yeah.
So she's been a little bit modest here. So let me get in here. Let me just explain to you guys what I see. So as you can see here, we have our full crop list of every potential crop that we're going to grow this year. But then you scroll over here, we're a compact farm. So some beds we're not going to have a full bed of, for instance, of zucchini. So we have two different varieties of zucchini we're growing. So that tells us that we're going to have zucchini growing, but we have two different varieties growing, a partial bed of two different kind of zucchinis. Yep. Also, as she's mentioned, she's given us links. So if we did have someone here working for us or interning, wink, wink, they can come here and click and get better detail, go right to the source of our seeds, our plants.
Oh yeah, because this also is available on our phones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So from there, she has the date that we need to start our transplants. She has also on here the days to maturity, what plot and what row is going to be in.
And this is still a work in progress,
yes,
folks. Like it is.
Yep. And then, of course, the most important thing to the farmer, especially this farmer here, is the money piece. The money shot.
We're still working on this, though.
There's no work to be done. Let's just say we got to make some money. So, and it tells me, okay, what I'm selling that unit for, and again, she have done some research to figure out what the prices are going in our area.
USDA, Extension Office.
And then from there, me and her kind of butt heads on what things are going to be selling for and what they're not going to be selling for. And then it gives me overall projected sale from after all the harvesting for that particular plant. If you can go hover over that, what I can make. So if we so if you look here, it tells me on each harvest what I can expect to make. So like if I had 3 harvests of lettuce, it'll give me entire of all 3 of those harvests of what I can make.
Sure.
So that in itself is ingenious. So that is pretty cool. So if I know if I have 1 harvest, I'm gonna make a third of what they say in that bed. Let's say for instance something happened and that lettuce doesn't grow again, or the deer come through and eat that lettuce. Guess what? I can go back and look at my crop plan and say, okay, because the deer ate that lettuce, I lost this much money. That right there is pretty cool, people. So
Yeah, I mean, I went into a lot of this. This took me the most, and so like this, all of this feeds into the other aspects of the program. So, go ahead.
So, and not to talk you guys ear off about this piece because, and not to keep patting Jamie on the back because she deserves it. She gets Employee of the Month, of course. But there's, like we mentioned before, we have multiple enterprises on our farm. One being our honeybees. And they equate into that $65,000. So what Jamie did was created something projecting if we get 400 pounds of honey. And we sell our honey at $10 a pound, it tells me how much I can make off of the 400 pounds of honey, which comes up to be $4,000. And that, of course, deducts from that $65,000. Then we also have our chicken eggs. Typically we get roughly, when we count waste or bad eggs or the eggs we consumed, we get about 28 dozen of eggs per week. And our chickens usually produce about 36 weeks. And due to feed costs and all the other crazy things that are going out there, our eggs had to go up a little bit.
Yeah.
So they are $4 a dozen, and we are projecting this year to make $4,032 if we sell all our eggs.
I have a better tracking system for that too. So that is also something that we're going to start tracking again in March, and we'll be pretty diligent about how many eggs that we get, how many eggs we sell, and how many eggs we lose. So that way we have the ability to know exactly what our chickens are producing.
And we do have, as well as as I mentioned before, we do the pasture-raised poultry. That's something that we're kind of on the fence this year if we're going to do it or not, due to the fact that feed prices up here and the price point that we have to sell our chickens at. I don't know if I feel comfortable selling those to customers, but we're still going to do them for personal consumption. So I'm not going to really get into the pasture-raised poultry, but
it's out there.
But it's out there.
It's out there.
But to give you guys a totality view of what we have so far, because we have a few new enterprises. Of course, the farm apparel is fairly new. We have the fruit plot, which is going to be new this year for us, and then we have our orchard. We weren't selling our fruit at a sustainable price point. We'll put it that way. So
did you give him a wink?
No, I gave him a sigh.
So what he's saying, it was my fault. I was not.
They just say we was giving away the farm.
That actually is where it comes from.
Literally.
That is where that comes from. You know what? I've been doing a lot of reading this winter. A lot.
She has.
I've done a lot and what I have seen and what I have read is that, and I read you a kind of a blurb out of it, because you really want to sell what you're worth, essentially. And I think what we were doing is I was underselling our worth, and the hard work that it takes to, this alone has taken quite a bit of time. And even thinking about the crop plan and thinking about our potential customers, like it takes time, and then let alone putting the plan into action. So I've changed my perspective, and it has a lot to do with this cat right here.
I don't know if it has, because I could have gave her that information for free. Just saying. I did. She didn't have to pay for it.
Let's get back to this.
But dialing back in, give you guys an overview of right now what we have for projected sales. As you can see, right now we're projecting that we're going to make off of those three enterprises $42,063. Not too shabby. But we still have $22,937 to make up. And like I said, there's fairly few new enterprises on there from the fruit plot.
We're not sure.
Yep. And then as well as we're going to be implementing some raised beds, which is going to expand our capabilities in the market garden.
We said 6 raised beds. And what's the size?
36-ish. So they're going to be 24 square foot a piece, depending on wood prices.
So we're still working on that.
Yeah, we could, depending on if we have the ability, we could have 10, 20. We could have 30.
That would be awesome, but yeah.
But it just depends on cost and time. So, and we're really trying to be very cost conscious this year when it comes to how much money we're investing and looking at our return on our investment. There's a couple other enterprises that we haven't talked about that we're looking to add to the farm that are going to give us what we call that passive income. So stay tuned for those. We're not going to go too crazy. All right, so again, guys, we was looking for something that gave us a visibility on the potential of what we can make on our farm. Last year we did not have that. Like I said, I set a goal, but I didn't have a plan or anything to hold us accountable to hitting that goal, and we didn't have a visibility on how much we were making and how much it was costing us. So this really does give us that, and this will be something useful to any farmer, really, any farmer or any homesteader. So Jamie, good job on that.
Well, thank you.
Don't let it go to your head. But just to reel everything back in, as I said before, farms are created out there in the field, but they're really they're sustained in the office. So you want to make sure that you're doing your bookkeeping and keeping track of things, and that's something that we lost sight of or we was missing. So I don't know what else to say, but you know, the formalities, you know, we always got to say at the end, make sure that you like, share, subscribe. Also make sure you hit that bell notification, because we putting out videos and we want to make sure you guys are watching them. Yeah. Tell a million friends or two, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.